Rocket Beans. So,
yeah. You're at Rocket Beans.
I'm trending again.
We're going to bring you up.
Yeah.
No, it's more like Kerbal Space Program.
It was a roller coaster. Now, here we go back up.
It's very nice to swallow, but herzlich willkommen, welcome to our next broadcast here at Rocket Beans TV. Ihr habt den fließenden Übergang gesehen, von Shenmue geht's jetzt, von Shenmue 3 geht's zu Wasteland 3. Wir bleiben bei der 3 und haben einen sehr wichtigen Gast hier, nämlich auch den Sieger des besten Rollenspiels der gamescom 2019. We have here Brian Fago. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
I just told the people that, of course, you're here to present us a little bit, to talk with us a little bit about Wasteland 3, which won the best RPG of Gamescom 2019. So congrats for that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Before we start with the interview, I would say we have a fresh trailer from Gamescom, so that people who are not familiar with the game can take a little bit of a look. And let's watch it before.
Yeah, please show it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brief.
That was a great trailer.
You like that?
Yeah.
I think it was very concise.
Yeah, no, I really got the point across. I think.
Yeah.
Wasteland. It's coming.
Yeah, our colleagues are going to line it up, and then we're going to watch the trailer a little bit.
Okay,
it's coming again.
Okay.
I believe this partnership will be beneficial to both of us.
You will bring my fractious children to heal, while I will ensure the continued existence of your organization. Just be warned, your trip to Colorado will not be easy. Gangs and cults watch the passes and prey on the unwary. You will have to fight to reach us.
Here comes the paid train.
I like it very Yeah, but it just looks, all the animations and how it comes together, it just looks nice. It looks fluid.
But reach us you must, Rangers.
That's a great idea.
We have a war to win.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it already.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Yeah, we got a great reception to it.
I mean, we've just talked about Shenmue 3 being like a bridge between games from beyond the grave and now. Wasteland has also a long history, so do you feel like that as well? It kind of fits into the category. I mean, not from the grave.
From the
grave,
from the past.
Games from the past.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Well, it's been a funny bridge since the first one, of course, Wasteland 1 came out in 1988.
That's
It's
what I'm
almost
talking
been
about.
30 years, which is amazing, right? And then we did, and then of course, I ended up doing Fallout because I wasn't able to do a Wasteland 2, right? So we did Fallout 1 and 2. And then I left that company, and then I couldn't do a Fallout 3, so I did a Wasteland 2.
Yeah, I get it.
So, and then there was a bridge between those two, and then now comes Wasteland 3, which is much different because our company was bought by Microsoft last year, and it was nice. They said, okay, now let's give you some extra money, some extra time and resources, and where can we take this title visually and in every category? And now you're starting to see the benefits of that. Yeah.
So it was the right place at the right time because you funded Wasteland 2 through crowdfunding.
That is right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you got the right start from the community, and now you're able not to wait again about 20-25 years to go for the next game. So it's good to be back in the normal cycle, so to speak. Yeah.
It's been fantastic. I mean, really, it's all about trust, right? So with Wasteland 2, it was our fans that said, we trust you. We're going to give you the money to make a sequel. And now it's Microsoft who says, we trust you to go make sequels. So it's all about trust.
Yeah, it looks like you really managed to capture the essence of today's games, even in that old school classic perspective.
Right.
So it looks like it looks like the movie. So how did you generate all the fluid animation that everything fits together? I mean, it doesn't look like XCOM. I mean, XCOM is great, but
Right.
you can't see behind the stuff behind XCOM. You can see all the grids and everything in your mind because it looks like it has the grid as a bottom. But your game doesn't look like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to bring up the graphic fidelity, I mean, certainly it's a lot of animation and it's a lot of artists. It's also a lot of visual effects. I think that's a lot of what's striking
a lot of
you
light
there.
effects.
A lot of light effects.
Yeah.
Like when that Jeep is like driving through the world map. Like one of the first YouTubers that was playing the alpha yesterday says it's not really going to look like that, but that really is the game. But that's a lot of VFX and a lot of lighting and things that we threw at that to give that fidelity.
But what's the point? The idea behind that driving through the wasteland? I mean, it looked great.
Well, that's
obviously.
the world map.
So you have to go from point A to B, and you have to drive to the hazardous material and everything.
And in all these, my classic games, there's always been a great world map. So, and it's huge. Like you only just saw that small piece of it. So yeah, you do got to go point A to point B, and of course, you can go in any order you want. We love giving you that latitude. Like if you want to go out of order, go for it. Now, you may encounter some enemies that are way over your head, but hey.
And go back?
Yeah, go back.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's up to you, but that's kind of part of the fun, right? And so there are random encounters, there are scripted encounters, but the whole world is open to you to go. And so rather than be on foot, you start off, you have a vehicle, and it's a real junker. I mean, kind of what you saw in that demo, you build up the vehicle over time, you get rail guns on it and that sort of thing. So almost like another character, the vehicle is part of your party now.
As you said, of course, now you're producing Wasteland 3 in association with Microsoft. You got more funding than before.
Right.
You can especially put it into the graphics as we talk about it. But did it make also some other changes possible to have now more funding that weren't possible when you crowdfunded Wasteland 2? So make realistic physics, or so to speak, or some underlying RPG systems?
Well, let me think a couple different things. Well, one is the soundtrack. So we already had Mark Morgan aboard, for example, and he did the original soundtrack for Fallout 1 and 2 and Wasteland 2. But I also wanted to experiment with the soundtrack, so I hired the music supervisor who did all the Quentin Tarantino films.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you heard the singing that was washed in the blood of the Lamb, which is an old biblical tune. So Mary's helped us put together this really crazy, creepy soundtrack for the singing parts that would have never happened otherwise, if not for Microsoft. So that's one example. That world map that you saw, all the visuals that got put together, that's something that came out of a direct result of Microsoft. But it's sort of a thing where it isn't perhaps a particular feature that was like because of them, but just across the board, everything raised up to the next level to look like a AAA game.
What's so fascinating about Wasteland? I mean, there's a lot of there's Chernobyl, the series. There are other Fallout-like games.
Right.
Like it's all over. It's all over. Yeah. So what's so fascinating about it? Why do we keep wanting more of the end?
I've always been drawn towards that as a kid. I mean, it was the Omega Man, Planet of the Apes, the Road Warrior. I don't know why I've personally been that way, but I don't know. It's considered a science fiction world, but it also feels like something that's like one button away, one disaster away.
Yeah, it's
right?
definitely only one big button away.
It's not like Buck Rogers where like, I don't know if it's going to happen. This feels like it's just right there. And it also, it's the worst of mankind in a way. And it's a reset. Where like it's like in the Postman, all of a sudden a school teacher is in charge, right? It throws the cards up in the air. So I think there's a lot of philosophical things about it all.
But can you write like a positive, optimistic storyline with a positive ending in a Wasteland? I mean, if you want to sell future, but if you want to sell future copies of the game, I mean, you have to keep the Wasteland. You can't make it a Greenland.
Well, I mean, in a way, the Rangers, the Desert Rangers, represent a positive force, right?
They try to
they're trying to bring law and order back to this chaos that's been set out. So, in a way, it really is a positive story, but they are dealing with cults and gangs that don't have such a positive outlook on things. And so, but in that way, we look at it as a positive story.
I got a short disclaimer for our viewers in front of the stage hier. Ein kleiner Hinweis für euch, falls ihr euch wundert, dass ihr das Material hier nicht sehen könnt, worüber wir reden. Wir können natürlich 16er und 18er Content nicht direkt hier in die Halle, wo alle durchlaufen, ausstrahlen. Also gerne auf dem Stream da nochmal nachschauen.
Aber die sehen währenddessen die ganze Zeit Close-up vom Booty-Kopf.
Ja,
oder?
ganz genau. Das
Also,
ist unser Wasteland.
Okay.
Just this is our Wasteland for showing footage to the people out here because age-appropriate content for everybody.
Yeah,
You should put it in the game. I can see him at the tank or something like.
No, it's more like
grinding through the
I would say a
wasteland.
perk. It's a perk.
He looks like an NPC.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Like the real ones.
Yeah, no, he looks like one of the talking heads. Yeah,
there's another
He's the best.
There's another certain series where you collect bobbleheads, so maybe you could collect booty heads.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe.
Maybe so.
Or maybe not.
I could see it. I'll scan him in before I go.
I think we did have him scanned, but
We scanned him already.
that's not the point. To follow up to the question of my honored colleague over here, the setting of a wasteland, of course, you originated a lot of in the past with this year, but now it's well used and. Maybe could it be a little bit overused? So of course you have the cachet and you have the name to follow up with a game like this, but is there the possibility that the people are sometimes fed up with stuff, with post-apocalyptic stuff and wasteland stuff?
Well, I think you need to keep the content fresh, right? You just can't lean and go, it's post-apocalyptic and just call it a day, right? And so it really depends on the characters. It's all like any great writing, any great series. Like, you know, one of my favorite shows, not because it's called Fargo, is there's a great series on TV called Fargo. If you've seen it, every series is completely different than the last. It never gets old, right? And so I look at this the same way. And so when you meet the characters in this game, they're so twisted and so weird and so different that you just don't get bored. And so the situations are so odd. And what I love about role-playing games in general is that emotionally we can really make you feel horrible, right? And they're not even real people, right? And so, like, one of the techniques that we do in this game, which I love, is like, you'll go to like this couple's house, right? And they'll have like a laser rifle up on the wall going, oh, our long-lost son, it was the last thing he owned before he died. And you know that would make the game so much easier for you. But you'd have to do a horrible thing to get that laser gun. Right, and so...
Yeah, we'll just honor his memory by killing lots of people with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
We have a couple more minutes left, but I think you have to go because you have another
you have an
appointment.
appointment.
Oh,
It's too bad.
But maybe the guy with the sniper gun was an asshole and sniped like random people. We never know.
well, this is what I like. People rationalize their horrible behavior.
I have to leave now. I don't care about you people. I'm more important.
He's always like that, but now,
Yeah.
goodbye. But he's enthusiastic. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
So just to finish it up, how happy have you been, aside from winning RPG of the show, of course, with the reception the game got here from press and the people?
No, but it's been great. I mean, really, everybody's responded super well. That they've all walked away and commented on how polished it looks, how great it's looked. They feel like the combat has been a big step up, not just visually, but in terms of what they can do from a tactical perspective. We've added a lot of things that you could do on the front end, given more abilities. All the players move at the same time, so you can stack your orders and get more strategic in combat. So across the board, everybody loves what we've done. So yeah, super pleased.
Yeah, and nowadays, of course, I think Wasteland 2 was also multi-platform, so it wasn't only on PC, if I'm mistaken, or was it only PC? But now I would say with Microsoft and TAO, it's not only on PC, yeah?
You can pretty much count on that.
Yeah,
right. That's a safe bet.
That's a safe bet. Yeah. Do we have a lot of work still to do here?
Yeah, it's still not going to come out until spring of next year. So this product originally started via crowdfunding. So we, as part of that, we put builds out to our backers. So we just pushed an alpha build of the combat out yesterday. So we're putting it out, they're giving us comments, we take it very seriously, we're reading those, we're incorporating that, so there'll be a couple builds we put out to the public, and we'll make adjustments based upon the comments they give to us. So yeah, we still have a ways to go, so it's just going to be tuning it in and making it perfect.
Well, it's a good thing to be able to say it's game of the show, so people it's more visible and people can be more invested into it.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Me on.
And you out there, ihr da draußen, denkt daran, Wasteland 3, das Rollenspiel des Jahres 2019 auf der Gamescom hier. Behaltet es im Hinterkopf, verfolgt die Entwicklung und wenn es draußen ist, dann schaut es mal genau an. So, thank you and bye bye. Wir sind gleich zurück mit Contra hier auf der Bühne und dann geht's weiter. Bis gleich. Da ist es.
Okay.